On the day of the Christmas party that would wrap up the year. After arriving late, I noticed a female subordinate standing alone outside in the cold winter of December. What's going on? It's a gathering for those with high academic credentials only, they told me, with just a high school diploma, to wait outside. I wonder who told her that. Seeing the female officer shivering and holding back tears, I couldn't just stand by. Education isn't everything. It didn't seem right that her hard work, despite her diligent efforts at work, wasn't being recognized. And then, I quietly reached for my phone in my pocket. My name is John. I work for FBI as an executive assistant director, responsible for overseeing the branch. Susan, have you gotten used to the atmosphere in this branch? Yes, I was quite anxious when I transferred from the field office to here at the FBI headquarters, but now I feel secure in my work. This must be such a wonderful place to work that you wouldn't consider working anywhere else, right? I'm not joking, I really think so. I believe it's all thanks to you, John. Me? Yes, everyone here is exceptionally kind, but I believe it's because we have you as our boss. If that's the case, I'm glad, not sure, though. You made my job so much easier and has helped me tremendously. I'm glad to hear that. I know you have a family to take care of, so don't overdo it. Thank you so much. Raising your son all by yourself, I think you're doing something truly commendable. I'm just doing what needs to be done. Well, that might be true, but I remember you said you weren't confident in your physical strength. Thank you for your concern. I don't have kids of my own, but I understand the difficulties of balancing work and household chores. Oh, do you? When I was in high school, my parents passed away in an accident. I'm sorry to hear that. I had a much younger brother that I worked very hard to provide for. You had such a difficult time when you were still a teenager. Of course, I think it would have been impossible alone. Without the support of those around me, who knows where I'd be. People are willing to help out because of who you are, John. You're giving me more credit than I deserve. I'm now the boss, but I don't think it's all on my own. The support from relatives, friends, and various people is what made me who I am today. That's why I want to be kind to my subordinates. Even as an executive assistant director at the FBI, I've never forgotten that. Without those around me, I might have given up back then. You've overcome many hardships to be where you are today, John. It sounds cool when you put it that way. Seeing Susan, who transferred from a local field office, reminds me of the old days. Somewhere in my heart, I might be seeing a reflection of my younger self. One day, the topic of our annual event came up. It was a man named Mike who first suggested it. John, the Christmas season is upon us, isn't it? That's right, I had almost forgotten. I'll look up some nice places. No, I've already made a reservation. Really? You've already booked? That was quick. Since I am a Harvard Law School graduate, and I passed the FBI exam with top honors, he said. Does that have anything to do with booking the Christmas party? If I do say so myself, I'm a very gifted and competitive person who wants to take the leadership in doing many things. Regardless, it's always appreciated that you invite me every year. It seems like the Christmas parties are usually held among colleagues of similar ranks. Exactly. Not everyone gets invited, so I'm always happy to be included. With someone as well respected as John, it's only natural. Anyway, John, please make sure you come. I've booked a special place. Thank you, I'm looking forward to it. Mike was elitist and proud, but a man who could get the job done. I trusted him to handle things. But at that time, I had no idea what was about to unfold. On the day of the Christmas party, I had to contact Mike unexpectedly. I'm sorry, but something urgent came up at work. Is that so? Tough break, John. It won't take too long, so I'll probably be late. Is that okay? Not a problem at all. Please get in touch later. Thanks. I'll wrap up as quickly as I can and head to the venue. I hurriedly began working on the unexpected task. It was more extensive than I anticipated, and by the time I finished, the Christmas party had already started. Man, I need to hurry. I rushed to the venue that Mike had booked. There, I found someone standing alone outside the venue. Is that you, Susan? Hi, Sean. Good evening. What's going on? It's cold outside. Why don't you go inside? Well, it's just that. Susan seemed hesitant and troubled. Let's go in together anyway. I'm sorry, I can't. What do you mean you can't? Why? Mike and some others told me to wait outside. What? Why? Because I only have a high school diploma. They don't want to drink with someone of a lower education level. What? Did they really mean that? Yes. But I only have a high school diploma too. Maybe, but I guess it's different for you, John. You're the boss. That's not the point. You were invited to the Christmas party, weren't you? Yes, I was invited, so I came. And yet they told you to wait outside. That doesn't make any sense at all. I know, but... Susan looked like she was about to cry. Considering it was the Christmas season, it was extremely cold outside. It was utterly unreasonable to make her wait outside. Susan, let's go to a different place. What? There's no need to wait here for a Christmas party. There are plenty of other nice places we can go to. Let's go. But, I was told to wait. There's no need to wait. You don't have to comply with such unjust demands. But shouldn't you go, John? I have no desire to drink with people who would treat you like this. I'm sorry, this is all because of me. What are you talking about? You've done nothing wrong. There's absolutely no need for you to apologize. Thank you. Let's go. It's too cold to stay outside any longer. You might catch a cold. Yes. I quickly arranged for a place and headed there with Susan. We caught a taxi and hurried in. It's a bar that is dedicated to creative dishes, and everything they serve is top-notch. Really, I'm looking forward to it. Still, I'm appalled by Mike and the others' behavior. Oh, by the way, do you need to let Mike know? I called him earlier and even sent a message, but there was no response. I see. The Christmas party must be in full swing. He probably hasn't noticed. I guess so. Don't worry about it. They have their own thing going, and we'll have our fun. You're right. I'm sorry for being so down. Anyone would be upset after what happened. It's completely understandable. I'm really glad you're here, John. You're welcome. Hey, looks like we've arrived at the place. I paid the taxi fare and got out with Susan. Well, we should greet them. Greet who? You'll see once we're inside. I opened the door to the establishment and entered with Susan. Hey, Sean, we've been waiting. Michael, sorry to keep you waited. What? What is Michael here? It's a year-end party for the senior management. I was supposed to drop by later. I had no idea. John, who's the lady with you? This is Susan, who transferred to my branch from the field office. Would it be all right if she joined us? Come on, let's have a nice drink since we're here. Thank you. At a Christmas party filled with senior management, Susan was initially quite nervous. However, her tension gradually eased. Susan, do you also have a high school diploma only? Yes, I do. I'm a bit embarrassed to admit it. What's there to be embarrassed about? Everyone here at this Christmas party is a high school graduate. Really, is that so? Just because someone's part of the senior management doesn't necessarily mean they're highly educated. I see. Maybe I had some prejudices. Many of us here have struggled with family issues. I think there is a lot we can relate to when we hear about the circumstances you just described. That's such a generous thing to say, thank you. I'm relieved to see you're getting along well. John, have you always been close with the senior management? You know, I've even been invited to their Christmas party. We've known each other for a long time, and we have a good connection. Compared to when she entered, Susan seemed much more relaxed. She must be delighted to find common ground with people she thought of as being out of her league. She was sharing more personal stories than she usually might. Yeah, you seem to have a lot in common with John, don't you? Really? In what ways? Oh, in many ways. What do you mean by that specifically? Well, no need to delve too deeply into that. Let's just enjoy our drinks for now. Oh, okay. Despite the terrible treatment from Mike and his gang, the Christmas party here turned out to be a lot of fun. The wonderful time flew by quickly, and it was time to disband. See you tomorrow, John. Jess, I'll be heading off now. Good night. Since we were headed in the same direction, Susan and I shared a taxi back, just like on the way there. John, thank you for today. I had a great time. I enjoyed it too. The senior management seemed to like you. I was surprised. I always thought people at the top were almost out of reach. That's an exaggeration. You found a lot of common ground, didn't you? Yes, I did. It made me really happy, and it motivated me to work harder. Great. I'm looking forward to seeing what you achieve next, Susan. Please, don't put pressure on me like that. It makes me nervous. After such a conversation, we parted ways. I have work tomorrow, so I better get some sleep soon. The next day, I went to work as usual. Then, someone from the senior management visited our branch. It was some of the members who attended yesterday's Christmas party. Good morning, Susan. How are you doing? Hi, Michael. Good morning. I had a lot of fun yesterday. You seem a bit nervous without the alcohol, don't you? While Susan was greeting the senior management, one person hurried over. It was Mike. Michael, good morning. You look great as always. And you are? I'm Mike, a Harvard Law School graduate and future head of the FBI. Oh, okay. The senior management seemed visibly perplexed by Mike's sudden self-promotion. Despite the circumstances, Mike continued to ingratiate himself. He probably thought that by winning favor here, he could secure a faster path to promotion. By the way, are you acquainted with Susan? Well, yesterday we were at the same Christmas party. I see, but I'd advise against associating with such individuals. What do you mean by that? Michael glared at Mike, but he seemed oblivious to it. Mike pointed at Susan and began. She's a high school graduate and always a handful. Is that so? It slows down work, and it's really troublesome. Working with capable people like you must be entirely different. Do you think that has anything to do with educational background? Of course, it's directly proportional to a person's value. You understand that, don't you, Michael? Are you truly saying that from the bottom of your heart? Absolutely. Anyone who says education doesn't matter is just making excuses for their lack of it. What's your opinion on people with lower educational backgrounds? People with middle or high school education are not even human. They are the absolute bottom, never reaching the level of a Harvard graduate like myself. You're quite confident, but you clearly didn't understand anything. Excuse me. One's excellence doesn't require a formal education. I'm a high school graduate myself. Wait, are you high school graduate? That's what I said. Is there any problem with that? No way. How could that be? What's wrong? You are joking too much. How is it possible for someone as outstanding as you to be a high school graduate? I'm serious, though not joking. Really? Your highest level of education is high school. Yes, according to her theory, I suppose I'm not human. No, I didn't mean that. Well, what's the matter? Isn't that what you said? Well, that was just, you know. Mike's previously smug expression turned pale in an instant. It seems he finally knew he had gone too far. I'm terribly sorry. Someone like you is the exception among exceptions, a truly special individual. So there are exceptions among those with lower education levels. Yes, there are two kinds, you and everyone else. You're flattering me quite a bit, aren't you? Of course, people like Susan here, who are useless, are a completely different breed. It's almost insulting to even compare them. So it's because you can look down on others like that, that you do what you did yesterday. What did I do yesterday? Oh dear, you're not going to pretend you don't remember such a terrible act, are you? What are you talking about? I don't recall meeting you yesterday. Who said anything about me? I'm talking about what you have done to Susan. What? Oh, what was that again? Even though you invited her to the Christmas party, she wasn't allowed inside the venue, right? No, there was a little situation with that. What kind of situation? I'm all ears. I'm expecting an irrefutable argument. Well, I mean, after all, our culture is a predominantly male world, right? I'm listening. So, since the members at yesterday's Christmas party were all men, I thought Susan might find it boring. But you knew who the attending members were from the start, didn't you? Well, yes, but if she was just going to wait outside until the Christmas party was over, wouldn't it have been better to send her home? Oh yes, that's true. I hadn't thought of that. Michael, you always have such a unique perspective. Are you praising me or mocking me? Absolutely, I'm praising you. You thought that would please me. Michael glared at Mike with a look that could scare off like a demon. Overwhelmed by his presence, Mike began to cry like a baby. I'm so sorry. I'm disappointed in your character. It's a reminder that there are things far more important than educational background. Oh my. As we're talking, I remember hearing numerous complaints about you. What? There have been several reports of you harassing people with only a high school diploma. Harassment, that's not it at all. I'm just teaching them the harsh realities of society. Teaching? So, what you did to Susan was also teaching, was it? Well, yes, that's exactly it. It's all done out of love. Mike tried to justify his indefensible logic. Michael looked at him with disdain and spoke calmly. I see. Then, let's conduct a thorough investigation and decide on an appropriate punishment. Punishment? Please wait. I just wanted to improve the quality of the organization. So, you consider improving quality important? Of course, I always put the organization first, beyond my own interests. That's a commendable thought. I agree with it. Thank you. Well then, I'll take my leave now. Yes. The senior management left. Mike seemed relieved that his viewpoint had received some agreement. However, a few days later, a shocking order came from the senior management for Mike. What, me, transferred? That's right, you're being sent. Wait a minute, why do I have to be transferred? Are you dissatisfied? Of course I am. I want to elevate myself with my peers here at the headquarters. The place you're being transferred to is known for being very strict. That's terrible. You mentioned to the senior management that you prioritize the organization first, right? What does that have to do with anything? Michael agreed with you. Yes, but a transfer doesn't make sense at all. No, your transfer was decided because it was deemed necessary for someone who puts the organization first. What? You're a troublemaker who disrupts the harmony of the organization. We don't need that. That's harsh. How could I, a Harvard Law School graduate, be a troublemaker. That's impossible. You are free to think what you want. By the way, your transfer destination is famously strict, so brace yourself. What? Wait a minute. I was raised as a cherished only child. I can't handle a strict workplace. If it's too much, you're free to resign. Oh. The decision to transfer you is final. It won't be reversed. This is all Susan's fault. Don't blame others for your own failings. Shut up. I'll make you regret ever looking down on me. I'll climb higher than you could ever imagine. Is that so? Do your best. Don't mock me. I'll make all you low-educated people regret getting cocky. With those parting words, Mike was transferred. About 6 months later. John, have you heard about Mike? What happened? It seems he quit the FBI. What? After all his talk about making us regret it. He ran away because it was too tough. He had always had a smooth sailing career as a Harvard graduate, so he couldn't handle the sudden setback. Well, he couldn't turn his frustration into motivation. I wonder what he's doing now. I saw him at the park the other day. The park? Doing what? Susan happened to pass by the park in front of the station, where she saw Mike emerging from a makeshift home made of cardboard boxes. It seems their conversation went something like this. Mike, what are you doing here? It's you, Susan. Please, I'm begging you, give me some money. You must have some savings, right? Wait a minute. I can't just give you money like that. And are you living in the park? I quit my job in frustration and gambled away all my savings on something I've never done before. What are you doing? Not only that, but I ended up borrowing money from some shady lenders and couldn't pay it back. So you ended up here. You know what? You feel sorry for me, right? Don't you really sorry for me? What? You don't want to see a Harvard graduate like me in such a fallen state, right? Well, I don't want to see it, but then you'll help me out, right? Give me $3,000. With that, I can definitely turn my life around. What? I'm a Harvard graduate, you know. With that amount of money, I can do anything, be it investing or gambling. The possibilities are endless. I refuse. What? I don't want to help someone who looked down on me and harassed me. How could you say something so cold? I just explained why. Excuse me. Wait, I am sorry about all of this. I think you're the best talent, even if you only graduated high school. Thanks for that, but it's not making me happy at all. Please, I'm begging you. You're my only hope. My parents have disowned me. I'm at my wit's end. You're being persistent. Goodbye. After that, Susan never encountered Mike again. I see. So he's living quite a miserable life now. After all the time he did to look down on me. And now you are a great asset to the workplace. Well, I wouldn't say so. You focused on using your computer knowledge to streamline your day-to-day work, right? Yes, I've always been interested in computers and studied them since I was a student. Thanks to your efforts, you are now assigned to the cyber division and are making a name for yourself. It's really awesome. Thank you. Actually, I used to be in the cyber division myself. Really? I had no idea. I was interested in computers just like you. With the rise in online crimes, I thought I could use my knowledge to help combat them. I never would have guessed you were in the cyber division. People are not what they seem. Hey now, what's that supposed to mean? Sorry, I just couldn't picture it. I used to hear that a lot when I was in the division. When Michael said you and I were alike at the Christmas party, he must have been referring to this. That's right. We also talked about computers, so he must have thought so. I'm glad I cleared that up. If you have any questions about the cyber division, feel free to ask me anything. If so, as a senior member of the cyber division, would you be willing to teach me some things? You're quick, aren't you? Sure, no problem. How about we go out for a meal this Saturday? I'd love to have a more detailed chat then. Let's do it. I know a great place we can go to. This became the start of Susan and me meeting up more frequently, even outside of work. Initially, we only talked about work, but gradually we began discussing our family lives and hobbies. Before we knew it, we weren't just having meals together, but also going out to various places. Sometimes, we even took Susan's child to amusement parks. About half a year into this relationship. Susan, would you consider dating me? What? The more we met outside of work, the more I found myself drawn to you. Thank you, but what? Are you sure you like me? Susan said this with a lack of confidence. Instead of words, I chose to respond by embracing her. John, I want you. Please, consider dating me with the intention of marriage. Yes, if you're sure you love me, I'd be happy too. And so, we began dating. Susan's child quickly grew fond of me, and I genuinely adored him. A person's academic background is undeniably a testament to their effort and achievement. However, a lower level of education does not equate to a lack of value in a person. Through these events, I was reminded of this simple truth.